Um, in terms of the politics of the upcoming election, conventional wisdom is the Republicans are definitely going to lose the House and could lose the Senate. But the Democrats have gone so far to the left in every area that I don't see how the independent voter can vote for a Democratic candidate for Senate or for the House. So, although it goes against the conventional wisdom, I am cautiously optimistic that the Republicans will keep the House and keep the Senate. Um, so, let's hope that turns out to be true. In terms of U.S. energy policy, as you very well know, Eli, it's based on free markets, free market capitalism, private ownership of energy resources, which is not the norm in other nations around the world. Most of them have nationalized their energy industry. Consequently, we have a robust energy situation in this country. Uh, Oil production is 12 to 14 million barrels a day. Our uh, our production from wind power is up substantially. It's somewhat constant in terms of solar. Uh, we have a great natural gas production system. We export large amounts of crude oil and LNG. The European Union gets 25% of its natural gas from the United States, which a lot of people don't understand that. Internationally, demand for energy was down about 1.5% last year. It was down in China. Um, it was up in the United States, a little over 1%. As you know, we had a regime change or are having a regime change in Venezuela. They have great energy resources, but they haven't really utilized them the last 20 years. As an example, last year in Texas, in the Permian Basin, private entrepreneurs drilled 3,500 oil wells. In Venezuela, in the last 4 years, they've only drilled 190. So Venezuela has great potential, but don't expect a lot of Venezuelan oil anytime soon in the United States. Uh, U.S. refineries have basically phased out Venezuelan crude. They last year didn't refine any for all intents and purposes. So uh, electric vehicles were the rage 3 or 4 years ago. Those tax cuts expired. The subsidies expired last year. Electric vehicle sales are at a 3-year low. The U.S. market's about 16 million vehicles a year, which is about 1.25 million per month. The last month we have good statistics. Electric vehicles, we sold a little over 200,000 out of 1.2 million. Electric vehicles have a role in the United States. The technology is great, but my opinion is they need to stand on their own feet. We shouldn't subsidize them. And that's kind of an overview of where we are. Basically, the United States is in great shape energy wise. You mentioned gas prices. Uh, Personally, I'm glad gasoline is so expensive in California. That may get more Californians to move to Texas. But I paid $2.95 a gallon a couple of days ago here in Texas for unleaded regular. So, you
Well,
know,
is if the Repu if in fact the Republicans do lose the House, Democrats pick it up, would you see subsidies coming back, at least on the federal level?
I would say they will attempt it, but they will not be successful because I don't see President Trump accepting that. You'd have to get, first of all, it's almost impossible, even on a good day, to get anything through the Senate. And I think the Republicans will maintain control of the Senate. So um, I just don't see them coming back, Eli, unless there's just a catastrophic loss in the House and the Senate. Again, there's nothing wrong with electric vehicles. Um, they're very compete in the marketplace. You know, the internal combustion engine has been in existence over 100 years, 125 years. It's been refined. Um, it is not as efficient a delivery system as an electric motor, but the infrastructure, the supply chain, all the accoutrements of a modern integrated economy uh, have been put in place for gasoline powered and diesel powered vehicles. You don't have that yet for electric vehicles. Plus, you haven't recovered all the cost of the research. So um, I think electric vehicles are here to stay, but they're not going to be a big part of the average driving public's daily life for quite some time.
No, I just wanted to ask you one other question. Shifting here, I was talking to our friend and colleague at the Institute, Peter Husey, yesterday. We were talking about this, and one of the comments that I made to him is that as we talk about the reduction of oil usage, of petroleum usage, and we have continued policies against drilling in if we were to look at a Democrat administration, even in Republican sides of the aisle, we look to reduce energy in consumption in various different ways, although somewhat different than what we would see on the left or on the Democrat side. But nobody talks about the use of petrochemicals and the need for petroleum products, whether it's in our daily lives, whether it's in the clothing that we wear, the plastics that we use, the medicines that we take, and so on. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is between if I remember correctly, it's between 10 and 15% or so of our daily usage. And not only that, but it also talks when we look at it, when we look at the global GDP, we're talking about, trillions of dollars of GDP that would be impacted by this, by excessive regulation and reduction in drilling. So, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I've never heard anybody talk about the products that we get from petroleum outside of the car, the automobile, or power plants or things of that nature.
The That's a very good question. The climate change movement has begun to lose steam as the research continues to show that man-made hydrocarbons are really not a significant contributor to climate change, such as it is. And there's beginning to be a real debate about whether all these catastrophic predictions of global warming are true. In fact, there's quite a bit of evidence that they're not true. What has happened, though, Eli, is that the environmental movement has impacted investment strategies. They have environmental activists on the big corporate boards now, like ExxonMobil, the big energy companies. As a consequence, they're pushing policies that are anti-hydrocarbon, and the investment community, the banking community, uh, is very bearish on investing in oil and gas in the conventional extraction industries. And that is troubling because over time, if you're not making the investments, for example, out in the Permian Basin, uh, a new well will produce 700 barrels a day for 3 or 4 months. But within a year, it's down to about a third of that. So you have to continuously drill new wells in the Permian. The good news is there are over a dozen producing zones in the Permian Basin, which is amazing. So production in the Permian is higher now than it was 20, 30 years ago. So